Lu Rian did not appear on the day of our engagement. Instead of attending the ceremony, she was standing in the heart of the city, publicly confessing her love to a rising pop star beneath fireworks that lit up the entire night sky. The moment went viral almost instantly, shooting straight to the top of social media trends. I already suggested calling off the engagement. She laughed openly, her voice dripping with mockery. An engagement? Can you really handle losing my family's shares? Can you handle losing money? Her voice was soft, yet sharp with contempt. If you like living off my family so much, then keep doing it. She had no idea that I had already submitted my resignation to the board of directors of the Lu Corporation. I had already decided to leave. The engagement ceremony between Lu Rian and me had been prepared with extreme extravagance, gathering nearly every elite figure in the industry. Because she loved pink roses, the entire banquet hall had been transformed into a sea of blossoms, tens of thousands of flowers in full bloom. When I stepped out in my custom-tailored suit, murmurs of admiration rippled through the hall. He's really handsome. He and Miss Lu are a perfect match. Talented and good-looking. The Lu family truly found a treasure. Yet the main character of the ceremony, Lu Rian, was nowhere to be seen. Her father, Lu Ming, grew increasingly grim. Whispers spread through the crowd. My assistant shook his head, signaling that they still hadn't been able to reach her. A dull ache throbbed at my temples. I remembered the day Lu Ming first proposed the engagement. Back then, Lu Rian had seemed indifferent, yet she still agreed. I once asked her if she was sincere. Her attitude toward me had grown cold over time. We're getting married anyway, she shrugged. An engagement is just an engagement. That answer made me believe she still cared, rekindling a faint hope that had nearly gone out. No matter how willful or impulsive Lu Rian was, I believed I was still someone special to her. Just like before, when she used to chase after me, laughing, calling my name. I reached up and touched the red braided string on my left wrist, a simple, inexpensive bracelet I had worn for more than 10 years. It was the first gift she ever gave me. At that moment, another assistant rushed in and handed me a phone. On the screen, fireworks exploded across the night sky. Beneath the dazzling light stood Lu Rian, wearing a golden mermaid-style gown. Her voice rang out clearly. Yi Dengcheng, I love you. Yi Dengcheng was a young actor who had recently risen to fame through a popular web drama. He looked shy as he accepted the bouquet from her. Amid the crowd chanting for them to be together, Yi Dengcheng wrapped an arm around Lu Rian's waist. The confession was being live-streamed on her social media account. As a wealthy socialite, Lu Rian had millions of followers. Someone off-camera asked what she liked about Yi Dengcheng. She smiled brilliantly, so dazzling it almost hurt to look at. I like his youthful energy, she said. He feels fresh, clean. The crowd laughed. Then she continued. Why don't you ask what kind of men I dislike the most? The atmosphere instantly heated up. Everyone urged her to answer. Lu Rian pressed her lips together, a mocking curve lifting at the corner of her mouth. I hate men who like to lecture others, she said slowly, clearly. Men who try to control people. She stared straight into the camera, her gaze sharp, as if speaking directly to someone on the other side of the screen. I knew exactly who she meant. I had told her many times not to go to dangerous places, not to take unnecessary risks. I was genuinely worried about her. But she would only look at me with annoyance and say, "Do you know what a mansplainer is? That's you." Her voice echoed in my memory, cold, bitter, mocking, as if it had all happened just yesterday. On the live stream, the comment section overflowed with praise. Such a perfect couple. Men who lecture are the worst. So fake. I hate boyfriend types who act like old fathers. I calmly handed the phone back to my assistant, my expression unreadable. The engagement ceremony continued as planned. If anyone asks, I said coolly, say Miss Lu was delayed by an urgent matter. Have PR handle the situation immediately. Remove the trending topics. Delete related videos. Control the media. I adjusted my cufflinks as my assistant hurried off. The engagement ended beneath a mixture of pitying and mocking glances. But none of it mattered to me anymore, as long as the Lu Corporation's stock price remained stable. I waited in the living room until dawn. Only then did Lu Rian finally return. Her father was furious, ready to punish her severely for skipping the engagement. I stepped in to stop him. Their relationship was already strained. Further confrontation would only make things worse. Lu Rian responded only to gentleness, not force. "You wanted to see me?" she asked. She tossed her coat at me, kicked off her heels, and looked at me with cold, scrutinizing eyes, devoid of any warmth. Calling me back like a debt collector. I rubbed my temples, exhausted. I was only in my early 20s, yet my mind was constantly weighed down. When a heart grows old, the body soon follows. No wonder she said I was like an old man. "Did you forget today was our engagement?" I asked. She laughed. Of course I knew. So what? I didn't show up. What difference does it make? We're still engaged, aren't we? She smiled coldly. The whole world knows you're my fiancé. My friends are even jealous. They say I found the perfect man. She tilted her head, eyes full of sarcasm. But really, they should envy you. Without the Lu family, how would a live-in son-in-law ever sit on billions in assets? I clenched my fist, pain shooting through my knuckles. Yet my voice stayed calm. If you didn't want this, why agree to the engagement? I still have to explain this to the board. If you truly like Yi Dengcheng, you could have said so earlier. Do you know what this does to the company's stock? She sneered. All you see is money, isn't it? I never agreed, but did I have a choice? She stepped closer, her gaze sharp as a blade. You control my social accounts, my management, even the Lu Corporation. You say one, everyone listens, even my father. If I said no, wouldn't you just cut off my credit cards? I took a deep breath. I can resign from the Lu Corporation, just so you won't misunderstand. She froze for a moment, then laughed with disdain. Resign, then marry me? Only by marrying me can you touch Lu family shares. Otherwise, even if you gave your life to this family, you'd never get a single share. Her words chilled my heart. In her eyes, I was greedy, calculating, obsessed with money. She never believed anything I said. Seeing my silence, she smirked. So the rumors are true? Kai Bocheng really can endure anything for money. She was only half right. 15 years ago, my parents died in a car accident. I was just a child, unable to protect the vast inheritance they left behind. Relatives took me in under the name of guardianship, seized everything, and threw me out. I starved, until Lu Ming brought me home. Back then, I wanted only one thing, to survive. But more than that, I wanted a chance to change my life. That family was my lifeline. I still remember the first time I met Lu Rian. She smiled brightly and said, "Don't be afraid, my family has lots of money. No one will dare bully you anymore." That smile lit up my darkest years. Once, we were inseparable. She had me in her heart. I had only her. But everything changed. Somewhere along the way, I became the kind of man she hated most. Perhaps it was because I was diligent and serious, while Lu Rian was impulsive and rebellious. Her father began to value me more and more, while the relationship between father and daughter grew increasingly strained. Or perhaps it was because her mother, Sun Yelin, discovered that my mother had once been an old classmate of Lu Ming, and also the woman he had quietly admired in his youth. From that moment on, every time she saw me, arguments between husband and wife would erupt without fail. During those moments, all I could do was quietly retreat, barely daring to breathe. The look in Lu Rian's eyes grew more and more complicated, coldness mixed with resentment. Then her mother passed away after a long illness. From that point on, in Lu Rian's eyes, both her father and I became sinners, people who had caused her mother's death. Now, whenever she looked at me, her deep black eyes were filled with mockery and bitter hatred. After that, everything seemed to collapse completely. Lu Rian stopped coming home. She was either at Yi Dengcheng's film set, or photographed entering and leaving hotels with him. I held the photo of the two of them in my hand. In the picture, she was smiling, eyes curved gently, her expression relaxed, natural, and sincere. It was a smile I hadn't seen in a very long time. I turned the photo over, placed it on the desk, and said to my assistant, "Begin." I initiated the handover process. Because it was a voluntary resignation, everything moved quickly and smoothly. Tomorrow, my journey at the Lu Corporation would officially come to an end. I went to Lu Ming's office to inform him in person. It took 2 full days to convince him that I had truly decided to leave. He remained silent for a long time before finally saying, "I've always valued you. It's just that Rian doesn't know how to cherish what she has." I lowered my head slightly. "Thank you. If it weren't for you taking me in, I wouldn't be where I am today." He sighed. "The transformation of the company owes much to you. We need someone like you. Can't you stay? As for that actor, I'll handle it." I shook my head. "There's no need. Some things can't be forced." Lu Rian has never lacked admirers. The problem between us isn't Yi Dengcheng. Leaving is the best choice for both sides. Only by separating can we truly begin again. No one is irreplaceable. While I was packing my belongings at the villa, Lu Rian suddenly burst in, her face filled with anger. "Kai Bochuan, did you use your power to force Yi Dengcheng to break up with me?" She shouted. "You're despicable, truly disgusting." I knew she had been deliberately flaunting her relationship with Yi Dengcheng recently. And once news of our engagement spread, it directly caused a sharp drop in Lu Corporation's stock price. The company couldn't let that continue. "It was Uncle Lu's decision," I said calmly. "He was worried about the stock, so he had someone talk to Yi Dengcheng. If Yi Dengcheng refused to break up, his role would be replaced. If he agreed, the company would give him a new project. I had nothing to hide. It was better to be direct." But Lu Rian refused to listen. Her breathing grew rapid, hatred filling her eyes. "Are you a dog?" she blurted out. I froze. "You obey him like a dog obeys its master. Whatever he says, you do." "How obedient," she sneered. "Back in school, you studied like crazy, won every award. Those trophies, weren't they just to show you were better than me? You wanted to prove you were superior, didn't you? I know exactly what you're thinking. You want to turn the Lu Corporation into the Kai Corporation. You want me to obey you. To kneel beneath your feet." Each word cut into my chest, cold and painful, yet I couldn't refute any of it. "I won't let you get what you want," she said, her voice trembling with anger. I looked at her calmly. "It's always been the same, Lu Rian. I've never had anything but gratitude. I was taken in by Lu Ming, someone with no blood relation to me at all. If I wasn't obedient, if I didn't work hard, how could I survive in that house? I repaid that kindness with everything I had. Since college, I worked in every department of the company, starting from the lowest position. I worked day and night. I helped pull the corporation back from crisis. With everything I've given, I can say this honestly, between me and the Lu family, neither owes the other." Her face, still flushed with anger, suddenly turned pale. She slumped down, one hand clutching her chest, the other gripping the edge of the table, lips drained of color. I immediately realized her stomach condition had flared up again. She had long been used to drinking heavily and eating cold foods, it had become chronic. I opened the drawer in the living room where her medicine was always kept, poured water, and handed it to her. From her condition, I knew she hadn't eaten before coming here. I went to the kitchen and brought her a warm bowl of yam porridge, something I always prepared, though she rarely touched it. This time, she didn't resist. After taking the medicine, she leaned back in her chair, her breathing gradually steadying. When her expression eased, I said softly, "Ryan, let's talk. Let's call off the engagement." She laughed sharply. "Call it off? You can really give up my family's assets? You're willing to walk away from money?" She saw the calm seriousness in my eyes, yet showed no restraint. "A retreat to advance 3 steps? Kai Bo Chuan, that trick won't work on me. If you like living off my family so much, then keep doing it." I placed the resignation letter on the table in front of her. "The board has approved it. After we cancel the engagement, we're even. No one owes anyone anything." Her gaze lingered on the document for a long time. Her voice choked. "You say we're even? Then what about the past 10 years? You ate our food, lived in our house, enjoyed everything from my family. And that's even to you? Do you know? The whole world says you're my father's illegitimate son. Those rumors made my mother ill. They killed her." Her voice broke. I replied quietly, "You can ask Uncle Lou. He adopted me not only because of his friendship with my mother, but because my parents once helped him when he was starting out. There's evidence for everything. I've told you this many times. But you never wanted to listen." There was nothing left to say. I turned to leave. In the past, Lu Rian had been a goddess in my heart. One word from her could keep me awake all night. But ice doesn't form in a single day. And those feelings had long since shattered. As I took a step away, she suddenly ran after me and grabbed my hand. "Don't you love money? Don't you crave the position of heir to the Lu Corporation? Then why are you letting go so easily now?" A trace of unease flashed through her tear-filled eyes. At that moment, her phone rang. I glanced at the screen, Yi Dengcheng's name. I pulled my hand away. She rejected the call, sneering. "You're jealous, aren't you? Angry I didn't attend the engagement? Actually, between Yi Dengcheng and me." She didn't finish. The phone rang again and again. "Still him," she answered, after listening for a few seconds. Her expression changed. "Yi Dengcheng fell during filming. He's injured. I have to go. We'll talk when I get back." I said only one thing. "Goodbye, Lu Rian." She rushed out without noticing the suitcase I had packed and left by the corner of the living room. I quietly removed the red string I had worn for more than 10 years from my wrist and placed it on the resignation letter. Then I left that house. I boarded the earliest flight out of the city, leaving behind not only the city, but my past. I settled in a small coastal town in the Pacific Northwest, peaceful, scenic, untouched by noise. I planned to disappear for a year. I turned off my phone and slept for a long time. But the sleep was far from peaceful. The face of that relative, the one I had used every ounce of strength and strategy to send away, haunted my dreams. When your parents and I started out together, I only wanted money, they wanted the company. So why did I end up driving taxis while your family prospered? They cheated me. That company should have been mine. His resentful voice echoed endlessly. After securing my position at the Lu Corporation, I had secretly investigated my parents' accident for years. Most traces had been erased. Still, I never stopped. Eventually, I made him pay. From that moment on, my life changed. Yet those memories kept invading my sleep, leaving me exhausted every morning, body heavy, mind clouded. I didn't know whether it was years of overwork without rest, or the lingering aftereffects of leaving Lu Rian. Every time I woke up, there was an unfamiliar emptiness, as if I no longer knew who I was, or where I belonged. I stepped out into the small yard of the house I was renting and suddenly saw a familiar figure. I narrowed my eyes, thinking I was mistaken. It was OU, a junior from my university days. I studied business management. She studied law. We met by chance back then. As top students in our respective departments, we quickly developed mutual respect. When I sued that relative, OU had been my lawyer. She was meticulous, dedicated, and helped me greatly. But outside of work, we barely had any personal connection. "What are you doing here?" she asked, smiling gently. "I came here to lie low for a while," I replied. She nodded lightly. "Me too. I searched everywhere. This place felt perfect for rest, far from everything. I didn't expect to see you here." "What a coincidence." I was slightly surprised. Too much of a coincidence. Same place, same time, even right next door. "Are you hungry?" she asked. "I just finished cooking. Come eat with me." To be honest, I had been hungry since morning and followed her without thinking. It turned out she had rented the wooden cabin right next to mine. This place was a popular retreat, where many people came to recover their peace of mind. Still, her appearance here felt hard to believe. She set out a bowl of porridge and a few simple dishes. "I picked these vegetables from the garden myself. They're fresh and sweet, try them." Her place was simply furnished, it looked newly moved into. I knew OU well from work. She was serious, principled, and especially bad at lying. When she said, "coincidence," earlier, there had been a fleeting trace of awkwardness in her eyes. I turned to look at her closely. Under my gaze, her cheeks flushed slightly. "You didn't come here because of me, did you?" I asked directly. OU paused mid-motion, lips pressed together, saying nothing. Her silence was already an answer. "Why?" I asked quietly. She lowered her head, as if finally making up her mind, and spoke softly. "Kai Bo Chuan, you think the first time we met was in college, don't you?" I nodded. "Yes, at the award ceremony, we were both being recognized." She smiled faintly, a sadness passing through her eyes. "No, that wasn't the first time. The first time I saw you was one night, when I was in my second year of high school." I froze slightly. Then she told a story I might have forgotten forever, if she hadn't brought it up. Back then, Lu Rian had started skipping classes, getting into fights, staying out late at night. That evening, you were out looking for her. As for me, on my way home, I was stopped by a group of troublemakers. I was beaten badly, bruised all over. And then you appeared. You pulled me out of it. But I was terrified. I ran away before I could even thank you. Later, I found out that it was you." She paused, her voice growing quieter. "When it came time to choose a university, I chose the same school as you. Gradually, I learned about your connection with the Lu family. Being able to know you, to earn your trust, to be chosen by you as your lawyer, those were things I never even dared to dream of." When she mentioned the Lu family, my heart tightened. I couldn't stop myself from thinking of Lu Rian. I spoke softly, my voice low. "You don't need to thank me. You helped me greatly later on. As my lawyer. I've said it before, between us, we're even." OU looked at me, as if there was more she wanted to say, but she hesitated. "It's not just gratitude," she said after a pause. "I heard you canceled your engagement with Lu Rian. I know about the relationship between you two." I fell silent for a moment as memories slowly surfaced. It was true. OU's attitude toward me back then had been different. She had gone all out to help me with the lawsuit. She followed leads tirelessly, negotiated with all parties on my behalf. Her contribution to making that relative face justice was undeniable. Perhaps what she did wasn't only for work. But at the time, I truly had no room in my heart to think about anything else, especially feelings. This year, I only wanted a quiet life. To hide away from the world. To listen to myself, just once. Suddenly, something occurred to me. The announcement of the engagement's cancellation hadn't been made public yet. "Wait," I asked. "How did you know I canceled the engagement, and that I came here?" Oh, you smiled, her eyes bright. Did you forget? Your newest assistant was recommended by me. I froze. I had overlooked something so simple it felt almost ridiculous. I didn't know what to say and could only lower my head and take a spoonful of porridge. It's pretty good, I said. She laughed, her eyes sparkling. Of course it is. I'm a good cook. I have a few specialty dishes too. You'll have to try them sometime. Then she asked casually. You don't mind if I stay your neighbor, do you? A few days later, I finally turned my phone back on. Even if I wanted to disappear, in this era it was impossible to be completely cut off. I had left in a hurry, so I expected missed calls and messages. But I didn't expect so many notifications that the phone froze. What surprised me even more was that most of the messages were from Lu Rian. Kai Bochuan, where did you go? Why aren't you answering? Who gave you the right to cancel the engagement just based on my father's consent? I didn't agree. That doesn't count. How dare you cancel the engagement with me? Clearly, she had gone to her father to demand answers. Before leaving, I had discussed with Lu Ming that the cancellation statement would be released after 3 months. I had signed all the documents and handed them to my assistant to pass along. That assistant must have told OU. And once she knew, she found me within just a few days. As for Lu Rian, she must have called me countless times. Day and night. The chat window was filled with her messages. Before, it had never been like this. Most of the messages used to be from me. She would only reply occasionally, briefly, and coldly. This time, she wrote non-stop. At first, it was all anger and accusations. Kai Bochuan, do you even have a conscience? You just leave like that? Is this how you repay my family? Is there no humanity left in you? The engagement was your decision. And now canceling it is also your decision. What do you take me for? You just want to force me and my father to hand over shares. Don't you? This whole retreat to advance trick, you're really good at it. I could almost picture her shouting and smashing things as she typed. Lu Rian had never hidden her emotions. All these years, both Lu Ming and I had indulged her. Lu Ming doted on her because of his wife's death, and because he was always busy, surrounded by women, leaving little time for his daughter. As for me, I had loved her sincerely, so I chose patience again and again. But gradually, her messages changed in tone. Kai Bochuan, things between Yi Dengcheng and me aren't what you think. I started a film production company. He's just a partner. That public confession was just marketing. It's common in the entertainment industry. Don't you see? You've always thought I was useless. That's why I wanted to prove I could stand on my own. That's why I started my own company. I wanted you to see that I could do it too. Why did you leave the red string behind? You said you'd wear it for life. Kai Bochuan? My stomach hurts so badly. Where are you? I can't find you. Please, tell me. I stared at the last message. My finger hovered over the screen. The room was so quiet I could hear my own heartbeat, heavy, uneven, aching deep in my chest. I let out a soft sigh. I hadn't expected Lu Rian's reaction to be this intense. Losing control, for someone like her, must have been unbearable. That was why she had become so stubborn. But it was all futile. If this were the me of the past, just a little softness from her, just one gentle word, would have been enough to make me lose all dignity. For many years, she had been my only emotional anchor. But from the moment she didn't show up at the engagement, from the moment she looked at me with contempt and called me a dog, I finally woke up. My resolve to leave was sealed at that moment. Love can fade. Self-respect may arrive late. But in the end, it always arrives. I turned off my phone. I began a true life in hiding, gardening, cooking, hiking, learning to paint with OU. Everything was simple and peaceful. For the first time, my heart felt light, The only thing was, oh, you stubbornly stayed. Even after I told her plainly that I had no intention of thinking about romance. I know, she replied quickly. We're just friends. She cooked very well. Looking at her sincere eyes and gentle face, I couldn't bring myself to say anything more. One day, after returning from a walk in the forest, I saw someone standing nervously by the gate. I narrowed my eyes. It was Lu Rian. She wore only a thin coat. Her face flushed from the cold. The moment she saw me, she ran over and hugged me tightly. Her voice trembled, rushed. Kai Bo Chuan, I finally found you. They wouldn't tell me where you went. Do you know how hard it was for me to find you? How could you just leave me like this? She spoke rapidly, shaking with anger and cold. I gently removed her hands without hesitation. Lu Rian, I said calmly. I've already told you, we're no longer engaged. I've resigned from the Lu Corporation. There's no relationship between us anymore. After 3 months, once the statement is released, you can be with anyone you want. That young actor, Yi Dengcheng, seems quite suitable for you. I glanced at my clothes and gave a faint smile. And me? Do I still look arrogant? Like you said? Out of habit, I was still wearing a shirt and dress pants. She looked at me, her eyes wavering, emotions unclear. You say we're done, and that's it? You lived in my house for years. My family raised you. Without us, would you be who you are today? And I haven't signed the cancellation papers. As long as I don't sign, I'm still your fiancé. You can't run away. I already explained things with Yi Dengcheng. It was just marketing. My family can still give you shares. So don't make this a big deal. A wave of exhaustion washed over me. For the first time in all these years, I truly lost patience with her. Lu Rian, I said, my voice steady. The one making a scene is you, not me. Your family did help me. Lu Ming took me in. That's a debt of gratitude I'll never forget. But I've repaid it. I helped the company survive a crisis. I restructured it successfully so it didn't collapse. Between us, there are no debts left. When I resigned, everything was settled clearly. Where I stand today is the result of my own effort. If you think I took something from the Lu family, then take it back. Her eyes reddened, her voice choked with anger. You always take his side. You always stand with him. You're just pretending to be good to me. I clenched my fist, my voice dropping low. If I didn't stand with him, what was I supposed to do? Be like you? Drop out, cause trouble, defy your father? If I hadn't helped, the Lu Corporation would have collapsed long ago. I looked straight into her eyes. Without the Lu family, where would your current status and spotlight come from? Where would you have found the capital to start a film production company and flaunt it before the media? Her lips trembled, but no words came out. She stood there in silence for a long time. Finally, her voice broke, barely audible. How could you treat me like this? You were never like this before. No matter how angry I got, you never once spoke harshly to me. Her voice softened, filled with grievance. So she knew very well that she was making a scene, she just refused to accept that I had said we no longer had anything to do with each other. I replied calmly, go home. She stared at me, her eyes darkening. No relationship? How could that be? You were the first person I ever liked. The reason I hated you was because you were too close to my father. That's why my mother fell ill and passed away. I know I treated you badly. But even so, I always liked you. I thought that no matter what I did, you would never leave me. Her voice was hoarse. A bone-deep exhaustion surged through me. Her mother's illness was hereditary. As for her father, he had been entangled in affairs all year round. I had told her this countless times. But no one can wake someone who insists on pretending to sleep. I won't come back, I said quietly. She whispered back, her voice trembling. Perhaps my firmness finally frightened her. Could you come back to me? We can go back to how things were before. It was the first time she had spoken to me so cautiously. So carefully. It's too late. That was all I said before turning away. I didn't expect her to limp after me. Only after you left did I realize I can't live without you. I miss you until I feel like I'm losing my mind. I searched everywhere for you. I even asked friends in the tech industry to trace your phone signal. When I found out you were here, I came immediately. I'm freezing, I'm exhausted. She stood in front of me, blocking my path, tears welling up in her eyes. Her voice was so weak it felt as if she would collapse with just a light push. Seeing her like that, I couldn't honestly say my heart felt nothing. At that moment, OU opened the door and stepped outside. When I had gone out earlier, she was cooking in the kitchen. Ryan froze when she saw her. Her gaze flicked quickly from OU to me, a flash of anger lighting up her eyes. Who is she? Are you two living together? I was about to explain that there was nothing between me and OU. Then I realized, I didn't need to explain anything to her anymore. OU glanced at me briefly, then walked over naturally and hooked her arm through mine. Hello, Miss Liu, she said with a light, confident smile. My name is OU. I'm Kai Bochuan's girlfriend. Dinner is ready. If you don't mind, you're welcome to join us. Lu Ruyan turned to look at me, waiting for me to deny it. I met her gaze and said firmly. That's right, she's my new girlfriend. And she's also one of the reasons I left you. She let out a cold, sharp laugh. Her eyes swept over OU with arrogance. That was fast. You haven't been away from me long. And you already have someone new. Kai Bochuan, if you're putting on a show, at least find someone on my level. I can give you half the shares of the Lu Group. What does she have that's better than me? I looked straight at her, my voice icy. OU holds a master's degree from a top-tier university. She founded her own law firm. She has never relied on family background to secure her position. She's not inferior to you in any way. She was also my junior in college, and someone I deeply admire. I took OU's hand and stood facing Ryan. Ryan's face turned pale. Kai Bochuan, I'm your fiancé. The corner of my lips lifted slightly. Fiancé? Have you forgotten? At the engagement ceremony, you didn't even show up. What do you call an engagement without a bride? Ryan stiffened, her lips trembled, but she couldn't say a single word. She turned and left, her figure unsteady, like someone who had lost their soul. I watched her go, then turned back to see OU quietly serving food and ladling porridge for me. Her expression was calm, though there was a trace of embarrassment in her eyes. I'm sorry, I said softly. I dragged you into acting along with me. She smiled gently. For me, it was an honor. Even if it was just acting. The feelings were real. She paused, then continued. By the way, there's something I want to tell you. She took out her phone, opened a document, and handed it to me. I planned to tell you after your vacation ended, when you went back to work. But today, when I heard Lu Ryan say she'd give you half the Lu family's shares, I got a little worried, so I decided to say it now. I looked at the screen, stunned. You're the heir to the O Group? OU nodded lightly. Yes. My mother was the first legitimate wife of the O Group's chairman. She was later abandoned by him. His two sons, one was paralyzed after illegal racing. The other does nothing but squander money. That's why I was given the opportunity to join the board. My face grew warm. All this time, I had thought hiring her as my lawyer was helping her firm. I never imagined that she was the one quietly helping me all along. Back then, when you saved me, she continued, her gaze softening. Those men who attacked me were actually hired by my half-brother. From that moment on, I owed you my life. Now, I'd like to invite you, if after resting, You plan to return to work. Come to O Group. You can consider the position of Chief Executive Officer. She looked up at me, her eyes clear and sincere. But most importantly, Kai Bochuan, she said softly. I don't like you out of gratitude. Nor because I need you to help secure my position in the O Group. I like you simply because I like you. After you saved me, the more I learned about you, the more I couldn't stop liking you. I've liked you for a very long time. OU spoke quietly, her gaze transparent. A one-sided affection that had lasted for many years. When you left the Lu Group and cancelled your engagement with Lu Rian, I thought, finally, my chance had come. That's why I rushed here to find you. She hesitated, then continued gently. But don't think that just because I've said these things, you're obligated to respond. What kind of relationship we have should be entirely up to you. Hearing this, a warmth rose in my chest. A feeling I had lost long ago. I had only saved her once, in a fleeting moment. Yet she had repaid it with all her tenderness. A tenderness I had forgotten for many years. I'll wait for you, she said. Her voice was light, but unwavering. Life passed quietly after that. Having someone by my side made the space around me feel warmer without me even realizing it. Seeing OU from a different perspective, I realized she was delicate, gentle, and unexpectedly well suited to me. She liked cooking. I handled the cleaning. Perhaps because we had both spent years striving to prove ourselves, studied in similar environments, we had endless things to talk about. Many nights, we sat on the porch beneath a star-filled sky, talking until late. I didn't expect Lu Rian to appear once more. Her gaze swept past OU before settling on me. Can we talk? She asked quietly. OU turned to look at me, her eyes steady and understanding. She gave a faint smile, then tactfully stepped away, leaving space for the two of us. I'm listening, I said calmly. I'm sorry, Lu Rian said softly, her eyes lowered. It was the first time that proud, aloof girl had ever looked so fragile. I shook my head slightly. There's no need, it's all in the past. No, she said, lifting her head, her voice trembling. I really am sorry. I treated you badly. There were too many misunderstandings between us. When my mother died, I felt empty and alone. I hated my father for arguing with her even when she was sick. And then I hated you. Because you always stood by his side. Always listened to him. I was petty. I thought you only cared about my family's money. She paused, her eyes shaking. But the one thing I was certain of was that I truly loved you. I just didn't know how to face you. I didn't know how to love you. I looked at her calmly. There's no need to say any more. It's all in the past. Her body trembled. You used to be so tolerant of me, she said hoarsely. So why can't you be tolerant just once more? Please believe me, I'll change. She didn't understand. She didn't understand that the man who had endured all her anger, who had remained silent out of love, was finally exhausted. Love doesn't disappear overnight. It's worn away bit by bit. By cold words. By repeated humiliation. By suspicious looks. She had poured all her negativity onto me, never caring about the wounds in my heart. Even when I brought the murderer of my parents to justice and reclaimed my family's assets, she had only said, "Congratulations, you finally got a huge sum of money." In her eyes, I was never the man she loved. Only someone greedy, someone calculating. I looked straight at her, my voice hoarse. The kind of love you're talking about, I don't want it. I don't want a love that only knows how to hurt others. Lu Rian, I won't stand still waiting for you anymore. And I won't be a place for you to vent your anger. We once ate together, we once lived together. But now between us lie mountains and seas, things that can never be leveled. She froze. Her face turned pale, like a flower struck by lightning, stripped of all its former color. Then suddenly, her eyes lit up. I can learn how to love you, she said urgently. I really can change. I'll prove it to you. She pulled out a stack of documents and held them out to me. This is the transfer agreement. Half the shares of the Lu Group, as my sincerity. As long as you come back, I'm willing to do anything. I didn't know how she had persuaded Uncle Lu to agree to the transfer. Perhaps she had begged, suffered, exhausted herself completely. Just come back, she said. I'll do anything. Kai Bo Chuan, I love you. I looked at her for a long time, silent. The love inside me had vanished long ago. Dissolved in years of hurt, humiliation, and suspicion. No one can stand waiting in the same place forever. Faced with all this, I felt only emptiness. It's over between us, Lu Ruyan. She opened her mouth to speak again, but I raised my hand to stop her. Don't say anything more. I won't turn back. You should move on too. She broke down crying, sobs caught in her throat as her body shook and folded inward. But I didn't turn back. When I returned home, I saw OU standing in the room, her expression tense, watching my every reaction, wanting to ask, yet afraid to. I smiled gently, my voice warm. Let's go hiking tomorrow. At my words, the worry on her face slowly faded, replaced by a radiant smile. The next day, we climbed the mountain behind the valley. It was majestic, the sky an impossibly clear blue. At the summit, we set up our easels, took out our paints, and began to paint the scenery before us. OU leaned slightly toward me. The mountain breeze brushed past, carrying the faint scent of her hair, soft lavender. Your painting skills have really improved, she said, tilting her head as she studied my work, her eyes lighting up. It has soul, it's very artistic. I smiled lightly. That's because I have a great teacher. She stuck out her tongue playfully, laughing, her cheeks flushed in the morning sun. Of course, I taught you. I laughed. Living quietly beside her turned out to be the most peaceful and fulfilling time I'd had in many years. 3 meals a day. 4 seasons passing. Waking early to birdsong. Harvesting vegetables together in the afternoon. Sitting by the porch at night, watching the stars. Everything was simple, yet warm. With mountain winds blowing and white clouds drifting lazily, I gently reached out and took her hand. OU, I asked softly. Would you like to walk the rest of life's road with me? Her eyes widened, startled, then surprised, and finally moved. She tightened her grip on my hand and nodded firmly. Of course. The wind swept across the mountaintop, carrying the fragrance of wildflowers. The sky was a brilliant blue, dazzlingly bright. I turned to look at the girl smiling beside me. And in that moment, I knew. The days ahead would be just as beautiful and radiant as today. That's the end of today's story. If you enjoyed it, please like the video, subscribe to China Story Tales, and stay tuned for more stories.